Hey guys, and welcome to the video. In the last video, I mentioned briefly that I took all 3 kids camping for 5 nights, basically by myself. And I wanted to make a video showing you guys how I survived doing this in case any of you are feeling adventurous and would like to take your kids camping and you may not have some extra help. If you're new around here, I'm Kassy with MakingTimeForGiggles.com, and I make videos all about how to simplify your life. We talk about meal planning, budgeting, routines, and decluttering, and if that sounds like something you would be into, please subscribe down below and ring the bell next to it because I would love to see you on the next video. Real quick before we get into this video, make sure you watch all the way to the end because I have a special announcement that you will want to hear about before Monday, and I will have all of the details for you at the end of this video. All right, let's get into this camping trip. So in full disclosure, this was not camping in the wilderness. This was what our church calls a camp meeting, which is a lot of other people in our church getting together, camping together, having meetings throughout the day. They have a lot of fun kids activities at these camp meetings. And in the past, I have actually driven every day, driven in the morning and then come back usually around 10 o'clock at night because the meetings get out late at night. And it's just a super busy and crazy week. Well, now the girls are definitely old enough that they want to be at every single meeting and they start looking forward to this as soon as the years is over. They start asking when the next one is. When they were a little younger, I could get away with maybe skipping a morning meeting or skipping an evening meeting, but now they're way too aware that there are so many meetings and they want to be at all of them. So I decided to camp. It's about 30 minutes away from our house and it does have facilities. It has showers, it has bathrooms, and all of those things. So it's not like we were out in the wilderness with no one around and no cell service. There was actually quite a bit going on around us, but we were still camping in a tent with no electricity for 5 days. I will also say that my husband actually came for the evening meetings. He would often eat dinner with us, and then he would stay through getting the kids all into bed, and then he would head back home because he needed to work through the day. And there were a couple of nights that he ended up staying the night with us, but most of the nights it worked out much better for him to come home. So all throughout the day, all of the meal prep, all of the taking care of the children during the day was on me, as well as all of the through the night sleeping, if anyone needed to use a bathroom or anything like that. That was all on me. So I am just going to go through how I survived doing this and encourage any of you who feel like doing something like this in the future to definitely do it because it was a ton of fun and the kids really enjoyed themselves. So the first thing that I did to survive camping by myself with the 3 kids is I prepared all of our meals ahead of time. I did all of my main meal prep at home, and then all I really had to do was throw things together for each of the meals. If you watch the collaboration video that I did with Dr. Ryan Williams, I talk about how I used the dinner recipe that he showed us in that video, and I actually used it as a dinner recipe for when we were camping. I just prepared the pesto ahead of time, I prepared the quinoa ahead of time, I had some cherry tomatoes, I had fried up some tofu, and I made bowls with all of that in the evenings. And that was a really easy supper to put together that required 0 cooking. Another thing that I did was I made several loaves of bread the day before we left so that we could have easy sandwiches and have everything that we needed so I didn't have to do any cooking for lunches. And another meal that I prepared was I made a whole bunch of beans and then I took some lettuce from our garden and chips and we had haystacks. So it wasn't anything fancy. It was a lot of bowls and kind of throw together meals, but it was much easier than me trying to cook while we were camping, especially by myself. My son is at the age where he is walking and he generally does really great entertaining himself until I step foot in the kitchen. And he is also at the height where I am walking around the kitchen trying to do things, and he's tall enough to stand right behind me and hold on to each of my shorts as I'm trying to move around the kitchen. So it makes it very difficult to cook even when I am home and my husband is available and he can intervene and take him and go do other things while I'm cooking. But by myself, without running water at our campsite, things like that, cooking just sounded very intimidating. So it was definitely worth the day before we left, so it was a Monday. I took just basically all day and cooked and prepped everything that I needed for the week, and it was 100% worth it. The other thing that I prepped was granola, and we made granola, I think, every single day, or we had granola, we didn't have to make it. And that was a really easy and healthy breakfast. It was homemade, so it didn't have a lot of extra things in it like a lot of cold cereals do, and it just made life a lot easier. The second thing that I did to survive camping with 3 kids is I got a blackout pack and play cover. And this is something that I never had with my other 2 kids. We tried camping with the oldest once when she was really young. It was miserable. We said we'd never do it again. Then with the second one, something came up and we decided, oh, we'll camp, it'll be fine. It was miserable. We said we'd never do it again. So I had actually not taken, he's 16 months now. We had not taken him camping at all. And I was like, nope, it's terrible every time, not gonna do it. But I knew my girls would really enjoy camping at the camp meeting. So my sister had one of these and I thought, that is amazing. And that just might solve my problems with camping. And it is a blackout cover, but it's also breathable and it goes right over the pack and play. So our tent is big enough that we can put a pack and play in it. And you can open it up. Let's see, where is it? I think you can open it up if I can find the zipper. There's a zipper here. So this is the top of the pack and play. And it was pretty hot when we were camping. So after he was asleep, I would just open this up on the top. And then early in the morning, I would usually wake up around 4 or 5, and then I would close it again so that it was nice and black out before the sun came up. And there's also on the side a little breathable opening also that you can open up if you need to. So that was so nice to have because my kids do sleep with blackout curtains and blackout blinds at home, and it always makes them wake up a little earlier if we are camping. So this was super, super handy to have, and I highly recommend it if your kids are used to dark conditions and you want to camp with them when they are young. The third thing I did was I got a battery-operated white noise machine, and if you want to see the adventure that I had figuring out which one to get, you can check out my last video. And this is the little guy that we ended up sticking with, we ended up keeping. I ended up having to buy 3 different ones to figure out what would be best, but I really liked the Electrofan Micro 2. So if you want to see my full review of this and the other machines that I had gotten, check out that video that I put up last week. The fourth thing that I did to keep my sanity camping with 3 kids is I camped right next to another mom friend of mine who has 4 kids. Now, it may seem like that would complicate things more than doubling the amount of children that I have, but it made life so much easier just to have 2 adults because she was also mainly camping by herself, kind of the same situation. Her husband would come in the evenings. I think he did end up staying most nights with them and then going off to work the next day, but she and I were basically sun up to sundown in charge of the child care. And it was so nice to have someone else there where if one of the babies was sleeping and a couple of the kids needed to go to the bathroom, one of us could take them to the bathroom. Or if the kids' meetings were starting and the dishes needed to be done, one of us could do the dishes and one could take kids to the meetings. And it was just so nice to have another adult there that we could kind of tag team the responsibilities with. And speaking of the dishes, also the bowl meals where everything just kind of gets thrown together, since we weren't doing a lot of cooking, it definitely cut down on the dishes as well, which makes life a lot easier, especially with a toddler who thinks he needs to be held when you are busy. So yeah, camping with another mom was invaluable, and I would definitely recommend doing that if you want to go camping with your kids. Just find another friend who also likes to camp. The 5th thing that I did to keep my sanity while camping with the kids is I threw my schedule out the window. I did not worry about making sure naps were at certain times and bed was at a certain time. I went into this week knowing bedtime was going to be late and nap time may or may not happen. I kind of just let the kids say, obviously not the baby, he wouldn't ever say, but the older kids say if they were tired, if they needed to rest. I think both of the girls ended up maybe even almost every day, I think, laying down for part of the day, but it was really hot in the tent. And I think they only each ended up falling asleep once. Maybe the middle one didn't even fall asleep at all, but they were pretty tired. They were staying up until 9:30, 10 o'clock, getting up around 6:30, and then not napping all day. So there were several times where they said, "Mom, I'm tired. I'm going to go lay down in the tent." And I just kind of let them do as it worked for that week. And I didn't worry if meal times were a little off or things like that. It's 1 week a year, and I just don't worry about it. And even with the baby, normally he is a 1 to 2 hour a day napper still, depending. He's kind of dropping that first nap, but some days he needs it. But I think he maybe napped for 30 minutes every day, and yeah, he was tired at the end of the week, but they all were, and they all just slept a lot the following week, which was really nice for me. So I think that's also the beauty of having a schedule and having a rhythm, is when you need to throw it out, it's okay, because you can get back into it pretty quickly, and the kids also aren't starting out tired. They're starting out fairly rested because you have those good rhythms, and then when you have that disorder for a little bit, it's okay, and you can come right back to your rhythms after that. And the last thing that I did to survive camping with 3 kids is I planned a very relaxed week when we came back home. And I had a lot of time if anyone needed to nap extra or sleep in or go to bed early. It was kind of flexible, but in the opposite way that it had been the week before. There was just a lot of time for naps, and if people got cranky, I said, hey, you know what, let's have an early lunch and an early nap time. Or if it was after nap, hey, let's have an early supper and an early to bed. And it worked just fine. The kids caught up. They got rested again, and they had an absolute blast while we were camping. So I hope this maybe inspired some of you to go do something fun for a week, throw out your schedule, go camping, go take your kids and do something really fun, make those memories with the last little bit of summer that is left. And that's all I had for this video, but if you liked it, please subscribe down below, because I'd love to see you on the next one. I hope you found that video super helpful. Now, you may or may not know that I experienced a website hack at the beginning of April that basically took everything down, and I have had to rebuild almost from square one. And as part of the website rebuilding process, I also decided to create the rest of the workbooks that everyone would need to streamline their home. So you know that a streamlined home has 4 pillars: the decluttering, routines, meal planning, and budgeting. Now, I have had available for a while the autopilot workbook, which helps you build out your routines, and the set it and forget it meal planning workbook, which helps you plan your meals once and for all. But I didn't have available anything to help with decluttering separately from my course or budgeting. Well, as I was in this content creation process, I worked with a graphic designer, and I now have available all 4 workbooks. We now have a Cluttered to Calm workbook, which was previously only available with the course. And we also have a Money Mastery workbook, which walks you through everything you need for building a budget, paying off debt, donating to charity, and building your savings accounts. And in addition to the printable workbooks, I also put each one into a Google spreadsheet. Now, as a thank you to all of you who have reached out and let me know when different things on my site have not been working, and that is actually how I discovered that the hack had happened, I'm going to do something that I've never done before, and I don't know if I'll ever do it again. but I am going to have a kind of thank you sale, and I'm calling it a broken link sale because there have been so many broken links on my website. And I'm going to offer all of the workbooks, the old ones and the new ones, and all 4 of the spreadsheets for 10% off. And if you would like any of the bundles where you can buy all 4 workbooks, all 4 worksheets, or all of it together, any of those will be 30% off. And I do also have one other brand new product that is called Meal Planning Magic. And in that one, I have all kinds of theme nights written in for you and rotations already picked out with lots of recipe ideas for if you are plant-based like I am, or if you are not. And that is available for 20% off. Now, I'll let you in on a little secret. For anyone who is on my email list, they are getting an even better discount for each of these things. So if you are interested at all in purchasing, sign up through the link down in the description below, and you can get on my email list and look out for the next email, which will be going out on Friday, and use the links in that email and you will get an even better discount than what I just mentioned. But if you don't want to be on any more email lists, I totally get it. I will put links to the sales that I mentioned down in the description below, and you can access the sale prices there. Just be warned, on Monday at midnight, those links will no longer work, or I think they might work, but they will just take you to the original price of the items. So if you would like to take advantage of this sale, make sure you purchase before Monday at midnight.